There are many software which can help us handle and manipulate text. For example, there is one called LibreOffice Writer. I could launch this and start typing there. There is another suite called OpenOffice which I could install and start using. But every computer has a normal or a very simple text editor. A simple text editor doesn't have a lot of features, but you can still type. And the version that we will be exploring today is called gedit. And let's see how to launch it. To launch gedit on my Unity interface, I click on search your computer and type gedit, gedit, and I get a simple text editor. I can click on this and it launches a basic white space where I can type, and I'm typing ASDF, so I can type and backspace out everything. Now if you don't want to launch gedit like that every time, you could right click on this text editor which is already launched and you can lock it to your launcher. So if I lock it to my launcher and let's say I close this, I choose close without saving, and we see that the text editor is locked and I don't need to click on search your computer and type gedit and launch it every time. I can just simply click on this and launch gedit. Now that I have launched it, let me type something here. Let's say I have a phone number that I need to remember for one of my friend, so I will type his name and I want to save his phone number, right? And that's fine. I have his phone number typed out in my text editor and I can minimize it. Now next time I want to see what the phone number is, let's assume that I have multiple phone numbers of different people typed out here. One of the basic things I need to do after working in a text editor is to save it. Now let's say this time I forgot to save. The option to save is on the right side top. We will see how to do it, but let's say I forgot to save and I click on X to close the software. It's warning me. What is it warning me? If you don't save, changes from the last minute will be permanently lost. It's warning me, so I do not listen to this warning. I'll say close without saving anyways. So I've lost that information. I've lost that phone number. I've lost anything else I might have typed. So one of the reasons why you need to save a file is to say I can save that information on my desktop or wherever so that I can access it later. Now I need that phone number. There is no way I can bring it back because that file is closed and I can't get that phone number back. So let's do this again. Let me launch gedit and type a name. So let's type the name of Rajesh again and type in a phone number for him, and this time I want to save it because I want this file to be accessible and all the information in it to be accessible over and over again. So how do I do it? There are a couple of ways of doing it. There is a shortcut here on the right hand side top. I can click on save, or I could also click on the file menu on the top and click on save. So let's say I save it and it's asking me where do you want to save it. I'll choose the desktop and I will say phone numbers, and once I've given it an appropriate name and chosen a place where I should save it, in this case my desktop, I click on save on the right side bottom corner of my computer. I click on save. So this has been saved. It says phone numbers. On the left hand side top of this window you can see the name of the file is phone numbers, and where is it saved? It's saved on the desktop. So let me close this. Now you see the file is saved here. So the next time I want to access the information inside this file, I will just be able to open it up and see all the information including the phone numbers. There are two ways to open a file like this. I could double click on this and I have this file open, and the computer mostly knows what file to open with which software. For example, when I double clicked, the computer is not confused whether it should open it with Firefox or LibreOffice Writer or some other software. It knows to open it with gedit. There are times when you want very specifically to open it with the particular software. At those times, you want to launch the software first. For example, in my case, I launched gedit, and then I say File, Open, and then I choose which file to open. In my case, it's on the desktop. I choose 4 numbers and it opens. Now, why should we do this? Why should we know 2 different ways of opening the file? So let me demonstrate another way of opening it. Let me close this. Let me launch LibreOffice Writer. We will learn more about the software later, but let me launch this software called LibreOffice Writer. It's opened a particular format, and this is not a simple text editor. You see, it's very high. It has higher capacities than a simple text editor. So let me click on File, Open, and from my desktop I choose 4 numbers, and it still opens. But that's not the default software that my computer will use to open files which are saved as basic text files. And I can continue using this information and formatting it. Let's say if I want to increase the font size, etc., I could do that here. So this is a much more capable software. Let me close this without saving. So if you want the file to open with a particular software, then you need to launch the software first. Let me give you another quick example. Launch Firefox and File, Open, Desktop, 4 numbers, and it opens. So if you know which software to open it with, you need to launch the software first and then open the file. But if you don't want that, you just want it to open with the default software, you could just double click and it opens with the default software that's associated with this file. So in this video, we learned how to launch gedit, perhaps even how to lock it to the launcher, how to type in some information, save it, and also open the file.